The second misuse of power we have seen this week, LeBron James and Klutch Sports. They engineered Bronny getting drafted with the number 55 pick. Now, it was a terrible draft, and anybody drafted there was going to be a G leaguer at best. But Bronny offensively doesn't even look like a G leaguer. It's been embarrassing. He's 0 for 14 on threes. He was bad again last night. Now, I do think athletically he can be a defender in this league. Maybe. But he would not have been drafted if not for LeBron James and Klutch Sports. In a good draft, can't draft him. This team, the Lakers, can't really waste draft picks. But they do need on-ball defenders. They're old in spots, expensive in others. He's cheap and can defend. That I don't deny. But in both the case of Nike and the case of LeBron James, they had power. Power can corrupt. Men tend to flex anytime they have power. They use it, misuse it, or abuse it. This classifies as misusing it. And this is the classic dad, the classic parent trying to muscle his kid to get a job that he didn't really earn and kind of getting in the way the natural flow of life. Usurping somebody, getting power, jamming a kid in. You know how many times I've been asked, hey, can you get my son, my daughter a job at blankety blank blank? And my answer is always, I can get him an internship maybe. I can't get him a job. They're not qualified. It hurts. It's painful. It's the truth. So both Nike, Klutch Sports, and LeBron had leverage. And in my opinion, this is the downside to it. Bronny's been sort of embarrassing so far. Now, the Lakers are in a position where the new coach, J.J. Redick, now has to go to the microphone and tap dance to make sure he says all the right things about Bronny.
He's a development player. That's how we're looking at Bronny. He's certainly going to spend time with the Lakers. He will spend time as well in the G League. We're going to develop his shot. We'll develop his ball skills. He's already got a great feel. He has a really good instinctive nature on the defensive end.
Okay, that's a good way of saying he can't shoot. Be careful when you accumulate power, how you use it. Just because you have it, sometimes it's best to let the natural flow of business work. Just let things play out as they would without your power. Isn't it kind of an understanding in America? You do me well, I owe you a solid. That's like a given, right? I take you to the airport. You're buying the next dinner. I help you move. I get a little something, something back. Like that's the American way. LeBron James has carried the NBA for 20 years. He didn't have a long playoff run this year. Did you see the NBA ratings? As every other sport, WNBA, Copa, Euros, college football, up. NBA ratings, tank. No LeBron. He carried the Lakers, not a well-run franchise, for 6 years, got him a title. Number one brand in the league. Carried the Cavs for 11 years. They've never mattered except when he played there. Got him a title. You owe me dinner if I help you move. If I carry your sport, get you a new TV contract worth $7 billion. You got a problem with Bronny James getting drafted by the Lakers? It's the weakest NBA draft in maybe ever. In fact, what's funny is the Milwaukee Bucks, 30 picks earlier, drafted a kid out of Australia that played 8 minutes a game in Australia and averaged less than Bronny. It shows how polarizing LeBron James is. I had more people ask me about that on the East Coast. And my takeaway is, you're really bothered by it? Let me ask you this. Let's say you've done well in your life and you have a favorite steakhouse in your small, middle-size, or big town. And you go to that steakhouse or the pasta joint and you buy a lot of wine for years. You spend a lot of money at that steakhouse. You know what I mean? You've taken a lot of business dinners at that steakhouse. You didn't have to. You chose to. Don't you, after a few years, feel like you get a little better pour on that Pinot? Maybe get you a better table? Damn straight you do. And so do I. We all have expectations. We seek favors. We all get a little entitled if we give you something. LeBron James has carried the league for 20 years. He and Steph Curry have carried the league. Neither made a playoff run this year. Ratings went to the tank as everything else is. The Copa and the Euros are going through the roof. NBA with a lot of good players. Global sport tanked. No LeBron, no Steph. Yeah, I'm okay in the weakest draft ever. The Lakers going, we'll do you solid. In the 5 previous years before LeBron got to the Lakers, I could be wrong on this, I think they had the worst record in the league. They were a circus. They were leaking everywhere. He won him a title. Got him to another Western Conference Finals. In the weakest draft ever, his son, who, by the way, I think his son's a G Leaguer. I think at best he's a low-end rotational player. But this draft was horrible. After the 36th or 37th pick, you can argue it's a G League draft. I'm not losing sleep over it. And nor should you. Here was LeBron on the selection.
Obviously, it's a dream come true for me. Just see my son to be able to, be in the NBA alone. I mean, it's always been a dream of his. And for us to be side by side, it's a lot of words of loss, to be honest. I don't know. I mean, the kid has worked so hard to get back to this point. There's just so much has happened over the last year with him. To have this happen less than a year from his incident, to be with our friends and our family when they announced his name, it was something that was super surreal.
By the way, how many sons who aren't qualified or at minimum aren't the best candidate end up on their father's staffs in the NFL or college? Nobody gets too worked up over that. There's other far more qualified candidates. I think it's something about America that's understood, and I'm okay with it. You do me a solid, I got dinner. You help me move. Maybe I'm going through a tough time emotionally, and you're there for me. I owe you. I mean, how many owners take over for their parents that actually live up to expectations? Not many. We'll start with that. Don't get worked up over it. It's the world we live in. Inspect your own life, put a microscope on it, and if you really thought about the things you expect after you help others at a favorite restaurant, we all do it. It's okay. It's not worth losing 15 minutes of sleep.